You wake at 5 a.m., cold shower, gym, meal prep, work 12 hours, side hustle, sleep 6 hours, repeat. Everyone praises your discipline. I'm watching you destroy yourself. Standing ovation for militarizing your own misery. The lazy person knows they're failing and can change. You're failing while convinced you're winning. Won't realize until you've wasted years, grinding toward goals you don't even want. Adorable how proud you are of your prison. Here is what nobody tells you. Discipline past a certain point stops being a tool and becomes slavery. You're not disciplined. You're enslaved to impossible standards, sacrificing everything that matters for achievements that don't. Fascinating, watching people optimize their way into lives they hate. You sacrifice relationships for career advancement you don't want, health for productivity that means nothing, present moments for future outcomes that never satisfy, all while calling it discipline, all while thinking you're better than lazy people. Cute how backwards this is. Me being Zeus here from Olympus. I've watched disciplined people destroy themselves for thousands of years. The most disciplined are often the most miserable, grinding into corner offices and empty lives while lazy people stumble into happiness. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how discipline becomes self-destruction, why grinding is the problem, not the solution, and what you should do instead of optimizing yourself into dust. Here's what happens when discipline becomes identity. You start optimizing everything. Every hour must be productive. Every action must serve a goal. Standing ovation for turning life into a spreadsheet. You track habits, measure progress, quantify worth, reduce existence to metrics, wake time, workout duration, calories, hours worked, tasks completed. You've gamified your life. Adorable how imprisoned you've become. The problem with optimization is knowing what to optimize for, and you're optimizing things that don't matter. Optimizing income when you need connection, productivity when you need rest, achievement when you need meaning. You're getting efficient at climbing a ladder against the wrong building. You'll reach the top, look around, realize you're in the wrong place. But you spent so much time climbing, you can't admit the journey was wasted. Fascinating watching sunk cost destroy disciplined people. Real example. Guy optimizes mornings, wake 5 a.m., meditation, journal, workout, cold shower, healthy breakfast, inbox 0 by 8. Incredible discipline, completely miserable. Wife left him because he cared more about morning routine than their marriage. Standing ovation for winning battles while losing the war. Disciplined people develop martyrdom complex. They suffer and want credit, sacrifice and need you to know, work hard and require acknowledgement. Discipline becomes their personality. Adorable how exhausting they are. You tell everyone about 5 a.m. wake up, hard workouts, meal prep, side hustle grind. Not because it's working, because you need validation that suffering means something. That sacrifice makes you superior. Cute how transparent the insecurity is. The most disciplined people are often running from something, usually themselves, usually feelings they don't want to feel. Discipline becomes socially acceptable avoidance. Standing ovation for disguising emotional problems as work ethic. You work 80 hours not because you're ambitious, but because work is easier than dealing with marriage. Hit gym twice daily, not because you love fitness, but because physical pain is simpler than emotional pain. You optimize schedule, not because you're reproductive, but because being busy means you do and have to think. Discipline is your drug, socially approved addiction. People praise you, call you dedicated. Nobody sees its sophisticated escapism. You're as addicted to discipline as alcoholic to drinking, but society celebrates your addiction. Fascinating watching self-destruction rebranded as virtue. Comment one thing you're being disciplined about that's actually making you miserable. Just the thing. I know most are grinding towards something they don't want. Ones who won't comment are too deep to admit it. Adorable. Here's the most insidious part. Constant delay of living. Always preparing for life, but never living it. Always working toward future happiness, but never experiencing present joy. Standing ovation for postponing existence indefinitely. You tell yourself, once I hit this goal, I'll relax. Once I make this income, I'll enjoy life, except when you hit the goal, you set a bigger one. When you make income, you need more. The finish line keeps moving because discipline without wisdom is running on a treadmill. Real example. Woman grinds years building business, sacrifices relationships, health, experiences, finally sells for millions. Should be happy, instead depressed, because she spent 10 years preparing for life she never learned to live. Fascinating watching people reach destination and realize they forgot why they were traveling. You were so busy being disciplined about journey, you missed the point. Optimized for achievement and forgot fulfillment. Hit all targets and still feel empty. Cute how you never considered discipline was the problem. The lazy person at least experiences their life. Might not accomplish much, but they're present. They feel things, connect with people, have memories that aren't just work. Might be broke, but not emotionally bankrupt like you. Once discipline becomes identity, you can't stop without feeling like you're dying. You've built self-image around being disciplined one. The hard worker, the grinder. Who are you without it? Standing ovation for creating identity that requires your suffering to exist. You can't take day off, because that's not who disciplined people do. Can't enjoy spontaneity, because that's not who you are. Can't rest without guilt, because rest means becoming lazy. You've trapped yourself in character. You must perform or face existential crisis. This is why disciplined people can't retire, can't relax, can't enjoy success. Their identity requires constant grinding. If they stop grinding, they stop existing. They've made worth dependent on suffering. Adorable how you've built prison and called it character. I see this constantly. People who achieved everything but can't stop working. Entrepreneurs who sold companies for millions but start new businesses immediately. Not because they need to, because they don't know who they are without the grind. Fascinating watching people succeed and volunteer for new suffering. You're not disciplined. You're addicted to being disciplined, not driven. You're running from stillness, not ambitious. You're afraid of what you'll discover if you stop moving. Here's what kills disciplined people. Measuring wrong things. You track everything, but nothing that matters. You know net worth, but not stress levels. Productivity, but not happiness. Goals completed, but not relationships' health. Standing ovation for optimizing meaningless metrics. You're disciplined about work, but not presence. Achievement, but not connection. Future outcomes, but not current quality of life. You've weaponized discipline against everything that makes life worth living. Adorable how committed you are to misery. The lazy person doesn't track anything and accidentally prioritizes what matters. Spends time with friends because it's enjoyable, rests because tired, does things that make them happy without needing them to serve larger goal. Here's what's fascinating. In 20 years, you won't remember perfectly optimized morning routine. You'll remember spontaneous breakfast with kid you skipped because it wasn't in schedule. You won't care about inbox zero. You'll regret relationships you neglected maintaining it. Deathbed regret isn't I wish I'd been lazier, but it's also not I wish I'd been more disciplined. It's I wish I'd been present. I wish I'd prioritized differently. I wish I'd realized discipline in service of wrong goals is elaborate self-destruction. If you're still watching, you realizing discipline might be the problem. Subscribe for truth about self. Destruction disguised as virtue. Most will close this and go back to grinding into dust. You still here, which means there is hope. You'll change course. Here's how you use discipline without being destroyed. Adorable how simple this is. Discipline is tool for achieving things you've thought through, not virtue you perform to feel superior to lazy people. First, figure out what you actually want, not what you're supposed to want, not what gets praised, what you actually want. This requires hardest thing for disciplined people. Stillness, sitting with yourself low enough to know yourself. Most can't handle 5 minutes. Once you know what you want, use discipline to get it, but only as much as needed, not as much as possible. you don't need 5 a.m. Wake-ups for everything you don't need to optimize every moment. Sometimes good enough is enough. The goal isn't maximum discipline. It's appropriate discipline. Discipline in service of life you want to live. Not discipline for its own sake. Not as performance. Not as identity. Standing ovation for understanding discipline is means, not end. Also, be disciplined about rest, about relationships, about presence. If you're only disciplined about work and achievement, you're not disciplined, you're imbalanced. True discipline means having strength to stop, to rest, to be present. The lazy person needs to develop discipline. You need discipline to be less disciplined needs discipline. To stop, paradoxically, the most advanced form of discipline is knowing when to abandon acute, how highest level of game is choosing not to play. Here's what nobody admits. Lazy people often live better lives than disciplined people. Not because laziness is virtue, because they accidentally prioritize correctly. They do what feels good, what creates connection, what brings joy, while you optimize into isolation. Lazy person sleeps enough because sleeping feels good, spends time with friends because enjoyable, takes breaks because tired, pursues hobbies because fun. They're not optimizing, they're living. And that accidental living creates more fulfillment than your disciplined misery. You look at lazy people with contempt. They're not ambitious, not driven, wasting potential. Meanwhile, they're present for kids' childhood while you're in office, building memories while you're building resume, experiencing life while you're preparing for it. I'm not saying be lazy. I'm saying notice what lazy people get right by accident. Presence, rest, connection, joy. Things your discipline eliminated in pursuit of achievement. Standing ovation for sacrificing everything that makes achievement worthwhile. The ideal isn't lazy or disciplined. It's intentional. Knowing what matters and being disciplined about that. Knowing what doesn't and being lazy about that. Having wisdom to know difference. Adorable watching people optimize into lives they hate. You came expecting me to praise discipline and condemn laziness. I won't, because discipline destroys more lives than laziness. Disciplined people destroy themselves while convinced they're doing right thing. At least lazy person knows they're failing. I'll keep watching because this never stops. Disciplined person grinds for years, achieves everything, realizes achievement doesn't equal fulfillment, has existential crisis, either doubles down on more grinding or questions the approach. Most double down. Fascinating watching people make same mistake twice. You'll probably ignore this. Go back to 5 a.m., wake up, and optimization and grind. Tell yourself this doesn't apply to you because your discipline is different. Your goals meaningful, your suffering has purpose. Standing ovation for the denial. Or you could stop, sit in stillness long enough to ask what you want. Audit whether discipline serves that or sabotages it. Develop courage to abandon discipline destroying you. Few will do this because it requires admitting you've been wrong. The ones who get this will use discipline as tool instead of wearing it as identity. Will be disciplined about what matters and relaxed about what doesn't. Will achieve things that actually fulfill them instead of things that look impressive. Watching someone break free from discipline prison never gets old. Watching them stop grinding, stop optimizing, stop suffering for virtue points, start being present, start prioritizing correctly, gives me something close to respect for your species. Comment one disciplined habit you're abandoning because you realized it's not serving you, just the habit. Next time I reveal why your need for certainty is keeping you trapped and how people who embrace uncertainty are the only ones actually free. See you then if you're brave enough to keep questioning everything.